All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Sarabjit Kaur and with me is Vaibhav Jyotsna Srivastav. The headlines. Finance Ministry allows 20 states to raise over 68,000 crore rupees through open market borrowings. More than 62 lakh people recover from COVID-19. India has highest recoveries in the world. Neet Re-Examination to be held today for students who could not take tests in September due to COVID-19 restrictions. Railways to run 196 pairs of festival special services to clear festive rush. Germany slams Turkey for taking unilateral steps and escalating tensions with Greece and Cyprus. And in IPL cricket, Chennai Super Kings beat Sunrisers Hyderabad Delhi Capitals to meet Rajasthan Royals in Dubai today. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a note of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. Now the news in detail. The Department of Expenditure in the Ministry of Finance yesterday granted permission to 20 states to raise an additional amount of 68,825 crore rupees through open market borrowings. Ministry of Finance said additional borrowing permission has been granted at 0.50% of the gross state domestic product GSDP to those states who have opted for option 1 out of the 2 options suggested by the ministry to meet the shortfall arising out of GST implementation. The government yesterday said that the number of people who have recovered from COVID-19 in the country is now more than 62 lakh and it is the highest in the world. India also has the highest recovery rate of 86.78% in the world. Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan was briefing media in New Delhi yesterday evening.
देश में जो कुल रिकवरी संख्या 62,27,295 है, जो कि विश्व की हाईएस्ट संख्या है. क्यूमुलेटिव पॉजिटिविटी रेट उसमें भी लगातार गिरावट हुई है और वो 8.07% हुई है. अगर वीकली पॉजिटिविटी रेट देखें उसमें और ज्यादा गिरावट हुई है और वो 6.24% है. और अगर पिछले 24 घंटे की पॉजिटिविटी का रेट है ये 5.16 है. तो तीनों में क्यूमुलेटिव पॉजिटिविटी रेट में, साप्ताहिक पॉजिटिविटी रेट में और दैनिक पॉजिटिविटी रेट में लगातार गिरावट हो रही है.
The Health Secretary said India continues to report a trend of steadily decreasing active cases. Member Health in Niti Aayog, Dr. V.K. Paul said there is stabilization in the impact of COVID-19.
पैंडेमिक के स्प्रेड में स्टेबिलिटी आ रही है और मृत्यु दर पे भी काबू है. उसके साथ साथ एक कंसर्न भी और वरी भी है कि ठंड के मौसम में हो सकता है ये पैंडेमिक फिर बढ़ जाए और आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल होने की कोशिश करे, क्योंकि कोविड-19 का जो वायरस है वो एक रेस्पिरेटरी वायरस है और जो रेस्पिरेटरी वायरसेस होते हैं उनकी टेंडेंसी होती है कि सर्दी के मौसम में उनका प्रकोप कई तरह से बढ़ता है. विंटर में हमें और भी प्रिकॉशन लेनी चाहिए.
Information and Broadcasting Secretary Amit Khare appreciated media and said it has played an important role in taking the message of precautionary steps to be taken against COVID-19.
Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Harshvardhan yesterday chaired the 21st meeting of the high-level group of ministers GOM on COVID-19. Appreciating the efforts of COVID warriors, Dr. Harshvardhan said India has the highest recovery rate of 86.78% and the lowest fatality rate of 1.53% in the world.
आने वाली सर्दी में खासकर जो हमारे त्योहार आ रहे हैं उनके अंदर विशेष सावधानी, कोविड एप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर, मास्क, 2 गज की दूरी और साथ में हाथों की और रेस्पिरेटरी हाइजीन. हमारा आग्रह है कि इस पर देश के लोग ध्यान दें. तो निश्चित रूप से आने वाले समय में जिस तरह से दुनिया में सबसे ज्यादा रिकवरी रेट और सबसे कम फैटेलिटी रेट हमारा है, हम कोविड के ऊपर निर्णायक विजय प्राप्त करेंगे.
Director General of Indian Council of Medical Research ICMR Dr. Balaram Bhargav said that ICMR has decided upon a cut-off of 100 days for reinfection of COVID-19 if it occurs. Replying to a media query on ICMR reinfection study, Dr. Bhargav said antibodies were also assumed to have a life of 4 months.
Definition of reinfection, whether it is 90 days or 100 days or 110 days, is still not decided even by the WHO. However, we are taking the cutoff of about 100 days if reinfection occurs, because that is what we have assumed as the life of the antibodies. Also 4 months is generally touted that the antibodies are persisting by some studies. So it is still work in progress.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the Chief Secretary BVR Subramaniam yesterday chaired a meeting to take stock of efforts towards mitigating COVID-19 pandemic in view of the upcoming festivities and the winter season. More from our Srinagar correspondent.
The Chief Secretary impressed upon the Deputy Commissioners to increase the per-day testing rate for early detection of cases followed by their isolation and respective medical intervention, especially in the upcoming season of festivities and winter season. He said that in winter season, when influenza-like illness and severe acute respiratory infections are widespread, it will be paramount to test all the vulnerable sections of the society for COVID-19 and prevent its outbreak. Regarding testing during the forthcoming season of festivities, the Civil Administration and the Health Department were asked to extensively collect samples from the high-impact areas like markets, offices, banks, universities, colleges, health institutions and residential colonies with incidences of infection. This is Sunil Kaur, AR News from Srinagar.
Gujarat recorded 1,169 new cases during the last 24 hours and the recovery rate has reached 87.79%. More details on this from our Ahmedabad correspondent.
The total 1,35,127 patients recovered from COVID-19 till now. 1,375 patients recovered during the last 24 hours. More than 51,14,000 tests have been carried out in the state till date. Maximum 248 new cases reported from Surat, while Ahmedabad recorded 177 new cases. At present, total active cases in the state are 15,209, out of which 82 patients are on ventilator. 10 patients died yesterday, taking the total deaths due to COVID-19 up to 3,587. Yogesh Pandya, AR News, Ahmedabad.
Chhattisgarh government has now permitted social, religious, political, entertainment and sports activities in all areas outside the containment zones in the state. More details from our Raipur correspondent.
According to the guidelines issued by the General Administration Department of the Government of Chhattisgarh, it will be mandatory to strictly follow the standard operating procedure during social, religious, political, entertainment and sports activities. Individuals wearing masks will only be allowed to attend the events. The organizers will have to make arrangements of soap, water and sanitizer at the venue. In these programs, individuals with no symptoms of corona will only be allowed to participate. Meanwhile, under the Corona Intensive Community Survey campaign in Chhattisgarh, about 56 lakh households have been surveyed so far. During this period, over 1,16,000 patients have been identified with symptoms resembling corona infection. Vikalp Shukla, AIR News, Raipur.
In Karnataka, the total number of COVID-19 positive cases have increased to 7,26,106. The recovery rate is around 82% in the state. The state has conducted 1,06,241 COVID tests so far. Report.
After getting both the portfolios of Health and Medical Education departments in the recent cabinet reshuffle, Minister Dr. K. Sudhakar has said that better coordination between Health and Medical Education departments will further streamline government effort to fight against COVID-19. He further said that there are certain technical issues in Medical Education department and Health and Family Affairs department. At district level, district health officers are reporting to Health Minister and the heads of medical colleges are reporting to Medical Education Minister. There exists a lack of coordination. The minister said that government will sort out the issue and provide better healthcare services to fight against COVID-19. Or Murthy, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In Tamil Nadu, fresh cases of COVID-19 infection dropped below the 5,000 mark for the second consecutive day yesterday. More from our correspondent.
The current requirement of liquid oxygen for supply to the COVID-19 patients under hospital care is estimated to be 190 metric tons per day. However, the reserve being maintained is 1,000 metric tons. which is much more than 5 times the actual demand, as said by the Health Principal Secretary Dr. J. Radhakrishnan. After reviewing the hospital facilities in Madurai yesterday, she said the COVID case positivity rate has been brought under 5% in 19 districts in the state. He said the situation in Madurai, which once remained a hotspot for the infection, has improved remarkably, leading to nearly 600 beds falling vacant in the government COVID facility in the city. Meanwhile, Tamil Nadu has set a record by way of testing nearly 82.5 lakh people and 85 lakh samples, all using the RT-PCR kits. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
Soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo has tested positive for coronavirus, the Portuguese Soccer Federation said yesterday. The federation said Ronaldo was doing well and had no symptoms. WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus hailed India's COVID-19 tracking app Arogya Setu for its role in helping the authorities to identify cluster areas and expand testing in a targeted way. Mr. Ghebreyesus said the pandemic can be overcome quickly if countries use the right tools.
The Arogya setup from India has been downloaded by 150 million users and has helped city public health departments to identify areas where clusters could be anticipated and expand testing in a targeted way. And the United Kingdom has rolled out a new version of its NHS COVID-19 app, which had more than 10 million downloads within the first week, as well as alerting users that they may have been exposed to a positive COVID-19 case. The app allows users to book a test and receive results, keep track of the places they have visited, and receive the latest advice on local restrictions.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Finance Ministry allows 20 states to raise over 68,000 crore rupees through open market borrowings. More than 62 lakh people recover from COVID-19. India has the highest recoveries in the world. NEET re-examination to be held today for students who could not take the test in September due to COVID-19 restrictions. Railways to run 196 pairs of festival special services to clear the festive rush. Germany slams Turkey for taking unilateral steps and escalating tensions with Greece and Cyprus. And in IPL cricket, Chennai Super Kings beat Sunrisers Hyderabad, Delhi Capitals to meet Rajasthan Royals in Dubai today. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
3 steps to stay protected and stay safe from COVID-19. Wear face mask, 2 gaz ki duri to maintain social distancing, maintain hand and face hygiene. News Services Division of All India Radio brings to you program Employment News in association with the Publications Division, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. An effective platform for information on job vacancies, training programs, admission notices, results and career advice with experts. Every day at 4:20 p.m. on FM Gold and other frequencies and on our YouTube channel AIR News Official.
Welcome back. The National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test, Neet Re-Exam, will be held today for candidates who could not take the test last month. The re-examination will be held between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. today. After the Supreme Court's directions, the National Testing Agency, NTA, is holding the examination again for students who were not eligible to appear for the exam due to the ongoing pandemic. The combined result of 13th September and 14th October will be declared on 16th October. Candidates who were either COVID-19 positive or were in containment zones on 13th September and missed the test then are eligible for the second attempt of the exam. Of the 15.97 lakh candidates who registered, 14.37 lakh students appeared for the exam on 13th September. The remaining 1.6 lakh candidates are expected to appear for the exam in the second attempt. NEET is a national level entrance exam for admissions to undergraduate medical and allied programs in the country.
Union Ministry of Finance has refuted the media report which gives impression that the Leave Travel Concession LTC voucher scheme for the government employees may not be attractive. In a statement, the ministry said, unfortunately, the piece which the news report relies on has a serious factual error in its understanding of how the government LTC works. The ministry said it is based on the erroneous assumption that leave travel money can be retained by paying income tax without travelling. The finance ministry has said that the government LTC is quite different from the leave travel allowance in the corporate sector. It said a person claiming LTC is not eligible unless he actually travels, and if he fails to travel, the amount is deducted from his pay and he may be liable for disciplinary action. He does not have the option of keeping the money and paying income tax.
Attorney General K.K. Venugopal yesterday told the Supreme Court that there is an urgent need to strike a balance between freedom of speech and contempt of court as the media is foraying into forbidden territory. He added that a bail petition is filed in a court of law and TV channels with private WhatsApp conversation messages of the accused. This is prejudicial to the rights of the accused and is very dangerous for the administration of justice. Addressing the court on larger issues, Attorney General told a bench of Justices A.M. Khanvilkar, B.R. Gavai and Krishna Murari that abuse of the right to freedom of speech had taken serious proportions today.
Ministry of Railways has approved 196 pairs of festival special services to clear the festive rush. These special festival services will be operated between the 20th of this month and the 30th of next month. Ministry of Railways has said that the fare for these festival special services will be applicable for the special trains. The ministry said zonal railways will notify the schedule of such trains well in advance. The festival special services to be operated include daily, bi-weekly, tri-weekly and weekly train services.
In Bihar, after virtual rallies, the election campaigns are getting momentum in the form of ground rallies. Due to COVID-19 precautions, only a few ground rallies were organized earlier. But now the frequencies of these rallies have increased. Senior BJP leaders Bhupendra Yadav and Sushil Kumar Modi addressed rallies in support of NDA candidates. BJP President JP Nadda will address election rallies on 15th and 16th October. Star campaigner of JDU and Chief Minister Nitish Kumar is focusing on poll campaign constituency-wise in his virtual rallies. On the other hand, Grand Alliance has not launched its poll campaign formally. CPI-ML General Secretary Dipankar Bhattacharya is addressing rallies in support of party candidates. LJP President Chirag Paswan's cousin Krishna Raj will contest from Rosara constituency. More details from our correspondent.
In Bihar elections, several tinted candidates are contesting on symbols of various political parties. RJD has given ticket from Danapur constituency to Ritlal Rai, who has criminal antecedents. Kumari Manju Verma, who is accused in the case related to Muzaffarpur shelter home, is contesting on JDU ticket from Keria Bariarpur constituency. RJD has given ticket to wife of an absconding sitting MLA who is wanted in a rape case. The party has also fielded wife of former MLA Raj Vallabh Prasad, who is convicted in a rape case with minor girl. Dharmendra Kumar Rai, AIR News, Patna.
The Election Commission has announced polls for 11 Rajya Sabha seats from Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Polling will be held on 9th of next month. The term of office of 11 members, including Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, Arun Singh of BJP, Ram Gopal Yadav of Samajwadi Party, Raj Babbar of Congress and BSP MP Veer Singh is due to expire in November this year. The notification for the poll will be issued on 20th of this month.
In Ladakh, today is the last day for the ongoing polling facility for senior citizens and differently abled voters for the ensuing General Council election of LAHDC. Our correspondent has filed this report.
As part of special arrangement in view of the COVID-19 pandemic for the safety of voters of the LHDC general election, the Leh Election Authority is conducting polling at the residence of senior citizens and differently able persons for 2 days. Today is the last day for the polling facility. Booth level officers accompanied by the magistrate with security personnel visit the house of classified registered voters for polling. This facility also been extended to those voters who are isolated at their home or placed under institutional quarantine and those undergoing treatment and the health worker deputed at COVID-dedicated hospitals. With Ramesh Chandra, this is Youngson Dolma for AR News from Leh Ladakh.
In Jammu and Kashmir, PDP chief and former Chief Minister Ms. Mehbooba Mufti was released from her detention last night, said the government spokesperson Rohit Kansal. Ms. Mehbooba Mufti had been detained under the J&K Public Safety Act of 1978 last year. This is All India Radio giving you the news.
सुना तुमने? अरे इस मुश्किल समय में सरकार ने हम कामगारों की मदद के लिए एक और बड़ा कदम उठाया है।
कौन सा कदम?
पात्रता के नियमों में छूट के साथ ESIC ने अटल बीमित व्यक्ति कल्याण योजना के तहत मिलने वाली राहत राशि को बढ़ाकर दुगना कर दिया है। हाँ,
अच्छा, पात्रता की शर्तों को पूरा करने वाले जरूरतमंद बीमित व्यक्ति राहत के लिए ऑनलाइन दावा www.esic.in पर करें। अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने नजदीकी ESIC शाखा कार्यालय से संपर्क करें या फिर टोल फ्री नंबर 1800-112526 पर कॉल करें।
Germany's foreign minister criticized Turkey for unilateral steps in the eastern Mediterranean that are undercutting efforts to de-escalate tensions with Greece and Cyprus over sea boundaries and drilling rights. Heiko Maas said yesterday any attempt by a Turkish survey ship to begin prospecting for hydrocarbons in disputed waters around the Greek island of Castelloriza would strike a serious blow to efforts at easing tensions and improving ties between the European Union and Turkey. In IPL cricket, Chennai Super Kings defeated Sunrisers Hyderabad by 20 runs at Dubai last night to stay in the race for the playoffs. CSK scored a competitive total of 167 for 6 in 20 overs, and in reply, SRH could only manage 147 runs for the loss of 8 wickets. In today's encounter, Delhi Capitals will meet Rajasthan Royals in Dubai.
Several parts of Odisha have been lashed by heavy rains triggered by the deep depression formed over the Bay of Bengal. South and coastal Odisha, including capital Bhubaneswar, have experienced rainfall of varying degrees during the last 24 hours. We have a report.
While the depression-induced rainfall has been incessant in some areas of South Odisha, it has been intermittent over coastal districts like Puri and Khordha. However, rainfall-related damages like landslide, crop submergence and waterlogging have been sporadic and localized in the rain-battered areas like in Ganjam. Meanwhile, the state conducted a mock exercise yesterday to check its tsunami preparedness on the occasion of the International Day of Disaster Reduction. Collectors, other district-level officials and sarpanches of 6 coastal districts participated in the virtual mock drill. The intention was to test the alert system for the villagers on possible tsunami through sirens, voice and text messages over different media platforms to make them future ready to fend off its impact. Girish Chandra Das, Bhubaneswar.
The India Meteorological Department IMD has said Maharashtra is likely to receive heavy to extremely heavy rainfall in the next 2-3 days. The IMD said there is an extremely low pressure area in the Bay of Bengal and the clouds developed due to it would be hovering over Maharashtra from October 14th to 16th. It would result in heavy to extremely heavy rainfall over some parts of Maharashtra.
In Telangana, incessant heavy rains lashed several parts of the state. Normal life has been thrown out of gear at various places including in Hyderabad due to waterlogging and residential colonies being flooded with rainwater. At least 8 persons died in rain-related incidents. 6 died and 2 injured when a wall collapsed at Badlagura near Hyderabad. 2 more died when a house collapsed in Indra Impattanam area. In Hyderabad, 19 teams of disaster management remained on ground, with boats being used to rescue stranded residents. 800 people have been shifted from low-lying areas to nearest community hall last night. And now let us take a look at the weather update this morning. The national capital Delhi will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 19 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 35 degrees. Mumbai will have partly cloudy sky in the morning hours, becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening with possibility of rain or thunder showers accompanied by squall or hail. The minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius and the maximum around 33 degrees. In Chennai, there will be generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will hover between 25 and 34 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. The minimum temperature in the city was 27 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 35 degrees. On to the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. In Jammu, the minimum temperature was 18 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 34 degrees. The city will have a mainly clear sky. In Srinagar, the sky will be mainly clear, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The temperature in Srinagar will hover between 5 and 26 degrees Celsius. Ladakh will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The minimum temperature was -2 degrees Celsius and the maximum around 21 degrees Celsius in Leh. Gilgit and Muzaffarabad will experience mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The temperature will hover between 9 and 26 degrees Celsius in Gilgit. In Muzaffarabad, the minimum temperature was 13 degrees Celsius and the maximum around 32 degrees. Chandigarh will witness mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 22 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 35 degrees. In Ahmedabad, the sky will be mainly clear. The temperature will hover between 23 and 37 degrees Celsius. Guwahati will witness partly cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder lightning. The minimum temperature in the city was 25 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be 34 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Most newspapers today take note of the release of Mehbooba Mufti, PDP chief, after 1 year. The Hindustan Times headline reads, Mufti gets to walk free 14 months later. With the government being bent upon ensuring COVID-appropriate behavior, administrations launch mask fees, taking a selfie while wearing a mask. Contest wherein the winner would be featured on LED billboards maintained by the NDMC. District admins plan mask fees, street ramdeelas and COVID warriors, informs the Hindustan Times. The Asian Age on its front page has a picture of an illuminated Akshardham temple after it reopened for the public following months of closure due to the coronavirus pandemic. With winter knocking at the doors, low winds, weather turned Delhi air very poor. Stubble burning in neighbouring states add to woes, writes the Pioneer. A sharp fall in the borrowing costs of states as RBI decides to buy debt via open market operations. Borrowing costs for states ease after RBI support steps, states the Financial Express. And finally, the Hindu hails the laudable efforts of Tabassum Mansoor, principal of the Indian School of Benghazi, who led the negotiations with militants in Libya. The caption reads, the principal who won freedom for Indian hostages.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Finance Ministry allows 20 states to raise over 68,000 crore rupees through open market borrowings. More than 62 lakh people recover from COVID-19. India has highest recoveries in the world. Neet Re-Examination to be held today for students who could not take test in September due to COVID-19 restrictions. Railways to run 196 pairs of festival special services to clear festive rush. Germany slams Turkey for taking unilateral steps and escalating tensions with Greece and Cyprus. And in IPL cricket, Chennai Super Kings beat Sunrisers Hyderabad. Delhi Capitals to meet Rajasthan Royals in Dubai today. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.